Welcome to the Heidi Thorne Show. I'm your host, Heidi Thorne, and in this podcast, I share my real-world self-publishing and small business experience with you. So let's get started with today's show. Now, today's show is a continuation of the book discovery survey results. And in today's episode, we're going to talk about a genre gap. Fiction versus nonfiction. Do both of those types of readers, are they similar or are they very different in how they find books to read? Now, I asked the participants to choose a genre, and I made them choose one. Now, granted, most readers read both. They'll read fiction, they'll read nonfiction. Hard to say what the proportions are, but I made them choose one. So when you make someone choose something, they're usually going to go with the one they prefer. So the participants skewed fiction. 66.33% were fiction readers, and 33.67% were nonfiction. So let's look at if there is a genre gap. First of all, let's talk about the most often used sources for fiction and nonfiction book discovery. What was really interesting here is that both fiction and nonfiction had the exact same top 4 often used sources, which are friends and family, searching on Amazon or online bookstores, physical bookstores, and the library. Absolutely no change between the two. I think there was a little bit of a jockeying of position which of the ones were like in 3rd or 4th place, but overall, almost identical. Like the overall survey. So we didn't see any difference in terms of the most often used sources, which are generally people's most preferred or favorite sources to find books. Now, when it comes to occasionally, we saw a little bit of difference. Their top source for fiction readers that they occasionally use to find new books to read is bestseller lists. And for nonfiction, it's radio, TV, newspapers, mass media. And then for never used sources, these folks were exactly the same, fiction and nonfiction. Book clubs, top never used source. And blogs, podcasts, Goodreads, the top 4 sources as it was for the overall survey. So I was kind of hoping to see a little bit of difference between the two because it would really help self-published authors figure out, well, what's a good way to reach these types of readers and what's unique to it. And there really isn't anything unique to either one. So that's a good thing because it simplifies our work as self-published authors trying to reach readers. We can kind of use some of the same tools. And speaking of tools, social media was in the top 4 occasionally used sources for finding books for both fiction and nonfiction. So did it make it into the top spot in often use? No. But just as we saw with the overall survey, social media still has some occasional influence on readers. We cannot usually get into the mass media of radio, TV, newspapers. Yeah, I suppose you can try, but it's very expensive and it's very time consuming and probably just not worth the investment. So it looks like social media is going to be a good choice for both fiction and nonfiction authors. So I hope you found this helpful, if not surprising in some ways. I know I did. I could have sworn there was going to be a massive difference between the two genres, but there isn't. So if you found this information helpful, I would appreciate it if you would subscribe to the Heidi Thorne Show wherever you like to listen to podcasts. I'm on Apple Podcast and Spotify and Stitcher and Google Podcasts and Podbean. And if you like the YouTube version, the video version of the podcast better, hey, that's fine too. You just have to subscribe to my Heidi Thorne YouTube channel and make sure that you turn on the notification bell so that you get an alert when there's a new video to view. I would appreciate it, of course, speaking of social media, if you would share the Heidi Thorne Show with your friends on social media. Now, my self-published books are available on Amazon, Audible, and Apple Books. All you have to do is put in my name, Heidi Thorne, and you'll get to my author page, and you will find all the books that are available there. If you'd like to connect with me or sign up for my newsletter, my website is very simply HeidiThorne.com. Thank you so much for listening and for your support. I'll look forward to talking with you again in the next episode, and in the meantime, have a great day.